What is data? In simple terms, data is captured information. Information in any form, on any subject. We generate data in all of our daily activities. For example, the number of times your heart beats per minute can be data. However, that data is only valuable if someone is capturing and analyzing it. That's why more and more businesses are gathering, compiling, and tracking as much data as they can. They are hoarding it, hoping they can translate it into valuable business insights. Because of this explosion of data combined with recent radical advancements in technology, especially machine learning and artificial intelligence, you see the FANG effect. This is when companies like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google build their entire business models on the data you generate when you use their services. Data is still a largely untapped resource that is changing not just companies, but entire industries. It can power self-driving cars, allow huge leaps in rocket innovations, and even predict what you will purchase and how you will behave. This brings up big ethical questions about how data should be used and secured. To address these issues, countries are passing laws governing data use. In 2018, Europe passed the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, a set of laws governing how data is collected, stored, and used. It asserts that data privacy is a fundamental human right. Many other countries are passing similar legislations. Data is the greatest untapped value opportunity for organizations today. What does data do? Data doesn't do anything. It's only information we can look at. It might have value or it might not. The question to ask is, what do we do with the data? That's a much more exciting question, with a more powerful answer. We use data to understand the present and shape the future. To have value, the data needs to be trustworthy, high quality, and quickly accessible. Just like any other critical asset, data needs to be protected, secured, and governed throughout its life cycle. When it's not, data can become a liability that leads to serious losses and regulatory issues. Here are a few examples of what we can do with data. Use data to save lives. Pharmaceutical companies get life-saving drugs to market faster by reducing clinical trial timelines using data and analytics. Use data to combat corruption. It gets analyzed to recognize financial patterns and relationships to help fight money laundering. Use data to protect supply chains. It's used to build predictive data models that calculate millions of predictions a day to help prevent unplanned events that might cause problems in the supply chain. Use data to boost human cooperation. When organizations work together to share information, they make discoveries faster and avoid repetition, to the benefit of all of humanity. That's what we can do with data. Why does data matter? Because it's a matter of survival. Since the year 2000s, over half of the Fortune 500 has either gone bankrupt, been acquired, or ceased to exist, primarily as a result of digital disruption. Digital disruption is powered by data. If businesses don't harness the power of their digital and data assets, they simply cannot compete. Data is more important now than ever before. It is at the forefront of our clients' minds for three main reasons. Data is exploding. Literally, everything we do generates data. Every text message you send, every time you use your GPS, every time you do a search on your phone or computer, data is being collected. Technology is advancing. The computing power available now is better than ever. That, combined with the advancements in machine learning and artificial intelligence, makes data even more important. Digital native companies are changing the landscape. They are using data to reinvent or create entirely new business models, causing massive disruptions to the entire industries. Traditional brick and mortar companies must decide if they will be the disruptor or the disrupted. Intelligent enterprises. How is data applied? Many businesses collect data, but do not know what to do with it. They don't apply their data. That's because they need a solid data and analytics strategy. Businesses that have a data and analytics strategy can accelerate their performance by up to 20%. They grow their business, mitigate their risks, and reduce their costs. A data and analytics strategy is a roadmap to help business realize these benefits. A solid strategy will include plans to: number 1, establish a solid data foundation. Define and build a flexible and scalable data platform that lets you capture data from a variety of sources. Make sure your plan allows data to be processed, curated, and analyzed. Define where the data will be stored and how it will move across the business. Number 2, manage and govern your data assets. Define a governance model that establishes policies and procedures to manage how data is captured and managed. Keep the data trustworthy, safe, secure, and compliant. Number 3, generate insights from data. Convert data into insights you can act on by using analytic tools and capabilities. Then make sure the right data gets to the right people within the business. And number 4, realize value from your data. Develop data-driven use cases and business models that leverage the power of your data. Then, track and monetize the value that data application brings to the business. How does data work? Your data only works if you do. New data is exciting if you are able to tap into its potential. Most businesses are using only a small portion of their data effectively because they can't transform it into meaningful insights. Establishing what we call a new data value chain will give you the ability to do the 3 C's: capture, curate, and consume. Capture data in any format and volume, and at any speed in near real time. Curate data quickly to cleanse, integrate, and transform the data so it can be consumed. This will establish the veracity of your data and give all stakeholders one trustworthy view. Consume data at the point of need in ways that you never thought possible before. Analyze it to derive insights and serve it up for visualization and decision support. Besides the data value chain, there are 3 other components that come into play when becoming a data-driven business. First, data strategy and architecture. Businesses need a strong plan for how its data will be captured, curated, and consumed. In order to define a strategy, the business must understand its goals and needs. A data architecture is a system blueprint. It outlines the best platforms and technologies to use based on the business needs. The plan also includes the selection of the right technology ecosystem partners to help bring the blueprints to life. All these components are completed in a phased approach. Second, data on cloud. With data exploding in volume and variety, companies cannot not think data on cloud. It spans a broad spectrum that can be scaled up to meet the needs of every data consumption pattern. Data is migrated from old systems, which are typically on-premise, to the target environment in the cloud. Data migration involves extracting, transforming, and loading the data for the business to extract its value. Third, data governance, management, and security. To harness the power and complexities of new data, it must be managed and governed as a true business asset. This means establishing a governance framework that includes an operating model that outlines roles, policies, and standards, intelligent tooling to ensure that AI and machine learning are used, and change management, a proven structured approach to planning, designing, and implementing data governance without disruption to the business. How does data combine with other technologies? Data is the heartbeat of almost every technology. For most technologies to work, they need data. Let's focus on a few of the major ones. Data and artificial intelligence. Data is the lifeblood of AI. AI relies on the analysis of data to recognize patterns, predict outcomes, and take actions. The more data, and the more varied data you have that's available, accessible, and accurate, the more likely that AI will be successful. That's because AI is only as good as the data it receives. The data doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to have enough quality and consistency for useful patterns to emerge. Data and security. When a company collects data, it needs to be done securely. There will always be threats and bad actors looking to steal and disrupt personal and business data. Companies that handle data are responsible for keeping it safe. New global privacy laws are holding them accountable. Two of the most well-known being the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, and the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. However, it's about more than just the data breaches we hear about on the news. Securing data from manipulation and bias is also essential. Companies need reliable data to help them decide where to invest, what to produce, and who to trust.